Oh, Searobin. Hey. All right. All right. There we go. Nice big fat Searobin right there. That's a good catch and cook. Let's bleed him out and take him home.
Okay, everybody. So today we're going to do a catch and cook, and our featured guest star here is the mighty Searobin. Now I've already done a fillet and release video on these guys. If you haven't checked that out, check it out. I'll put a link in the description, and look for the card right above there on top of your screen there if you want to check that out first, and then come back to this video, or actually better yet, watch this video and then go watch that fillet and release video. So today we're going to do something a little bit different with these guys. We're not going to do anything where we fry them up or anything like that. We're going to do something that is really refreshing and delicious, and very simple to make, and Searobin is a great candidate for it because it is so abundant and it produces a good amount of meat. We're gonna make some ceviche out of this, and it's very simple recipe. It really doesn't take much to make ceviche, and it's delicious. It's a great summertime treat. You can eat it as an appetizer and everything like that. When we get to the cooking portion of this, and I use the term cooking loosely because you don't really cook the fish, as I'll explain later. It is super flavorful, delicious, and you enjoy it on a nice hot day with a nice cold beer. You can't really top that. So let's get started. We're gonna fillet these guys out, skin them and everything, just get the boneless fillet, and then we're gonna bring these inside to the kitchen where we're going to make the final preparations for it. So let's do a little montage right now and fillet these guys right out. I've already gutted them so they're nice and clean.
Alright everybody, we're here in the kitchen now, and we've got our ingredients all laid out. And ceviche is a delicious meal to make. It's actually very simple to do. The only thing is that you need some time to really let the flavors come through and you know, evolve together. But all you really need are 5 simple ingredients, and I've got them laid out right here. The ingredients you need are, you need about a dozen to 15 limes or so, okay? And you can get these readily available right now throughout the summer, very cheap. You're gonna need some white onions, 1 to 2 onions depending on how much ceviche you're gonna make. You're gonna need cilantro, and this is fresh cilantro, fresh from the garden in the back over there. I just picked it out, and we're gonna give that a nice chop. You're gonna need salt to taste. This is kosher salt. I prefer to use kosher salt or sea salt instead of the regular table salt. It's just a much better ingredient than that regular table salt. So try to use either kosher salt or sea salt. It'll dissolve much better, and it's just the flavor is a lot better than the table salt. Okay. The final ingredient you need is the seafood, and right here are our Searobin fillets, looking all nice and everything like that. And I always like to supplement my ceviche with either squid, octopus, or shrimp. In this case, we've got our squid right here. We got our calamari right there. We're gonna cut that up into rings. We're gonna give the tentacles a little bit of a rough chop. We're gonna boil them up a little bit in some salt and water, just to get them actually cooked, because the ceviche doesn't quite work that well with the raw calamari. So we will cook that first and foremost, but the Searobin we will use completely raw, and it will cure in the lime juice. I've got our knives ready to do all the all the necessary cutting. The only other thing we need here is a bowl, and for this you have to use either a glass bowl or ceramic. Do not use plastic. A couple reasons. Number one, you're using a lot of lime juice, which is caustic. It's acidic. It does not interact well with anything metal. Don't use a metal bowl, and it just doesn't work that well with plastic. And I think it doesn't do anything to glass, and it doesn't do anything to ceramic. On top of that, I believe glass and ceramic, they're just a better conductor of heat and cold. And once you lay out all your ingredients in here, it's going to go in the refrigerator, preferably overnight, but you can definitely do it for over a couple hours if you still want it to be just a little bit raw on the inside. But it's nighttime now. We're going to mix all these ingredients together, and I'm going to put it in the refrigerator overnight, check on it tomorrow morning, give it another quick toss, and then it should be ready to enjoy. So let's get most of this stuff out of here and start getting on the cutting portion of the ingredients. Alright, so we're going to start off by cutting our squid into nice uniform pieces here, make them all nice bite size, and we're going to put all this in a small pot, and we're going to fill that up with some water since we're going to have to cook this first. You can't just add raw squid or octopus to ceviche, you got to cook it. Got to add a little bit of salt to that right there, and we're going to start to cut our onions, and all you want to do is cut these in half. Cut the ends off, and then you're going to want to remove the couple of the outer layers of the onion. You want to use the inner layers because they tend to be more sweeter than the outer layers. The outer layers are more pungent, and don't worry about the outer layers that you take off. We're just going to add those to the squid to give it a little bit more flavor. Now we're going to dice all the onions up into nice uniform rings, and we're going to set that aside. Now for the fish, what I like to do is I like to cut the fillets in half. So we got two different loins there, a top loin and a bottom loin, and I like to slice them up into small slices that are about 1/8 of an inch thick to almost 1/4 of an inch thick. You don't want to do this more than 1/4 of an inch thick, and I do this for a couple reasons. Number one, by slicing it, you create a larger surface area, so it's more contact with the lime juice. These larger pieces, I think, is a better texture and better bite when the ceviche is done. If you want to, you can cube it, but just keep in mind that the thicker you cut the fish, the more it could take to cure in the lime juice. You can definitely cut them paper thin if you've got those cutting skills like that. It'll definitely cure a little faster, but this is just a preference. We're going to put all the fish inside our bowls here, and we're going to add our onions, so we're just going to break apart so that everything's nice and loose. Now for cilantro, I don't believe there's such a thing as too much cilantro, and I like to chop it up as fine as possible. This is fresh from my garden, so if you can see, it's actually smaller, and therefore it's a little bit more tender than what you might get from a supermarket. Nothing wrong with supermarket cilantro, I've used it before. Just try to make sure that you don't put any of the hard stems into it, because you don't want to be finding a hard stem when you're biting into your ceviche. So if anything, just pick off all the leaves off your cilantro and then do a really fine chop on it. And we're going to add our salt to that, and you don't want to do more than like about a tablespoon of salt. Remember, you can always add more salt if you need to. Now for the limes, if any bartenders out there know what it's like to cut a whole bunch of limes, we're going to cut all our limes in half. And by this point, our squid is boiling and is tender, and we're just going to shut this off, and we're going to drain it. which, by the way, don't do what I just did right there. I realized afterwards I could have saved that stock and used it to make rice or something, so I kind of wasted that. So don't do what I just did. But do transfer your squid onto a strainer or something, and we're just going to rinse it with some cold water to stop it from cooking any further. And we're going to leave it aside. And we're going to now squeeze all these lime halves into our little handheld juicer here, and we're going to continue to do this until it's full, and we will continue to do this until we have enough lime juice that it will cover all the seafood in the bowl. It's going to take a little while, a couple minutes, but you'll get there, and we're just going to make sure it's pretty much almost covered in that lime juice. If you don't like the flavor of lime juice too much, if you think it's too strong, you could always put in the juice from one whole orange, and that will mellow out the lime juice a bit and give it a little sweetness to it. Okay, now we're gonna mix these up, and I like to do this by hand at this point because it's just easier, and just make it all mix up to make sure everything is in contact with the lime juice, and this will help ensure that all the flavors melt together. And this is also a good way to find out if you've got any paper cuts on your hands, by the way. Alright, we're gonna cover these up with plastic wrap, and we're going to put these in the refrigerator overnight, and we're gonna check back on it in the morning. Okay, here's the next morning. We're just gonna give this a quick little toss around with a spoon. Again, just to make sure that everything gets doused with the lime juice and everything cures evenly. And you can already see the fish has started to change color. It looks more cooked. And put that back in the fridge, and this is what it looks like afterwards when it's ready to serve for lunch or later on in dinner. You want to use a slotted spoon or a fork and pick some of that ceviche up, drain it as much as possible, and transfer it to your dish of choice for consumption. And then just get ready to enjoy. Alright, so we've got our ceviche right here, as you can see. And if you could look real close, you'll see that the onions have become nice and translucent. The Searobin has become nice and opaque, and it's got like a cooked look, but it's just cured by the lime juice. You can see all the cilantro. Here's the squid, and we're gonna enjoy this. This is a delicious treat, summertime treat. Have your cold beer. So flavorful. Taste the salt, taste the cilantro, the lime juice burst right there. Oh, it's really good. Get the sweetness from the onion, and then depending on the type of fish you use, it's very light seafood flavor to it. Searobin is a great candidate for this. So is porgy. Fluke is a great candidate for ceviche. And the squid is so tender, which is so good. It's a great appetizer right before dinner. So I'm gonna enjoy the rest of this delicious little treat here. I hope you get to do it as well. Make use of the fish you catch. There's a variety of ways to make them. This is just one simple way of doing it. As you can see, the hardest thing about this is being patient enough for it to cure successfully and get all the flavors there mixed together. As I said, the best thing you can do is leave it overnight and have it ready for the next day. But if you mix it up real well, it can be ready within 2 hours. So again, give it a try. I highly recommend it. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. Please share the video. All that helps my channel grow, and it supports my channel. So otherwise, until then, again, enjoy. I'm going to enjoy the rest of this ceviche, and stay tuned for more. All right? Catch you guys later. Tight lines.